consecutive days in the book of Psalms, and we're going to be praying these prayers.
Rises 1 year in
To do 6:33 in the morning, and that was the
AM.
yeah 6:33 in the morning. When we decided to keep going and not stop, we moved to 7 a.m. and it just kind of was organic, kind of just grew. We built a family. You see, I put on that Elite 500 Club. All right. Great afternoon, all of God's people. Actually, this is morning glory in the afternoon.
Yeah.
How's that? So, according to my little grandson, he was like, "Well, how you having morning glory at night? You got to give it a name. Call it evening glory." Well, this is morning glory in the afternoon, and I am just excited. I have with us this morning, this afternoon, as we gather together. Let's see. I have as my special guest today Minister Shirley King, along with my friend and brother, Pastor. Did I put Anthony Sanders? Lord have
Yes.
mercy. Did I do that? Did I do that, or did someone else do that? Let me make that correction right now. With that, and he is an Anthony, and Anthony make him special. But let me give him his proper due, Pastor Anthony Miller. All right, let's do it that way. And we are just excited, guys, to be able to join with you and be able to share with you for a few minutes and taking time out of your day and investing in your day with us. So we give you praise and we thank God for you. So, with that being said, just let you introduce yourselves and be able to come with us as we add each of you to our stage and be able to just let the people in the audience know who you are. Those that may know you, those that may not know you, we want to bring you in. So we'll start with Minister Shirley and then we'll go to Pastor Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations on 6 years of Morning Glory, Pastor Sanders. From 8 days to 6 years. That's amazing. So I'm Minister Shirley.
Yeah.
I'm Minister Shirley. I'm a Hallelujah. And I'm also a member of the Vision Center where Pastor Sanders leads at the Vision Center. There's much to eat I get between Sunday services, Bible study, and Monday through Friday morning glory. And I'm just a servant of the community. I'm a servant of God, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. And we're happy to have you. And being able to just thank God we get to work together and do some kingdom work. All right.
Amen. Yes.
Speaking of kingdom work, we also have Pastor Miller, and I'll let him introduce himself. If you will, my brother, just come on in and say whatever God has on your heart at the moment.
God bless you, my brother, my friend. Congratulations again on this long but short journey. I'm Pastor Anthony Miller, former pastor of the Joy of the Lord Church, newly elect pastor of the Greater Friendship Missionary Baptist Church in Hollandale, Florida. Always a pleasure to be with my brother, my friend, and watch him do the great work that the Lord has set before him.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. So we've been over the last few days, but over at least for a month now, talking about some things, how we can do things differently, how we can do things better in this. Really, for us, it's season number 7 in which we're embarking upon, but we are celebrating 6 full years of doing Morning Glory. And as you heard Minister Shirley say earlier, it was birthed out of doing prayer for 8 days and ended up now we're ending 6 years and beginning season number 7. With that being said, we've been bringing in good people throughout the last week or so, bringing in good people, talking to them about maybe some memories, talking to them about some things that they may have heard or even saw, because we do illustrations on Morning Glory. We talk about events, current events, past events. We talk about, of course, we talk about biblical, and we just try to make everything inspirational and also motivational. And so we wanted to bring in some of our friends and some of our family to talk about these past 6 years. Maybe something was said or done that has stuck with you over this time. And that's what we've been sharing over the past week in terms of memories. So I want to start it off. Both of you are on with me. And again, I thank you for your time. So if one of you want to chime in, maybe something over the last 6 years you came on and it caught you and stuck you, and it maybe even, like Dr. Montgomery was saying yesterday, had an impact on your life. So I want to turn it over to you. That's the question that's on the floor now. And, either one of you can chime in.
Ladies first.
Thank you, Pastor Miller. The impact with me began from day one. I was online on that day one of those 8 days of prayer. And I remember that specifically, and I will probably never forget it. I was going through a really tough time, and I was walking out to my vehicle to go to the office. And I remember saying, God, I haven't heard anything. You got to do something. And so as I'm
Wow.
walking and I'm walking to the car, you get the Facebook alert that Pastor Sanders is live. Like literally, I said that, I got that Pastor Sanders is live. Got in my car, and for the next 8 days, that prayer, it took me from a place that I thought that I just didn't know how to get out of that place internally and emotionally and spiritually. So from those first 8 days, it by that fifth day, I was shifted into, having some hope. I was shifted into that hope. And then when you kept going, I'm like, I know that he said that God told him to keep going, but I believe it was done just for me. I'm just like that. He would do that just for me. And so that's how Morning
Wow.
Glory has impacted me from day one. I would never forget that morning.
Wow, wow. You never told me that story there,
I
but
know.
I thank you. It hits home. I wanted to say, and this is to Pastor Miller, um, Minister Shirley is someone that I've known for years, but she's someone that I actually personally, maybe the only one that I personally went and recruited. I
Yeah.
went to her and we were talking about things, and we started off talking about Esther, actually. and she was telling me some things about what God was revealing her through the life of Queen Esther. But I personally say, no, your skill set is needed in the body,
Yes.
and your skill set, and God gives you what I believe is a tool set, as long as we can now have the right mindset. So it's mindset, skill set, tool set. And
Mm-hmm.
with from that, we started talking, and then, now she's not only doing things on the corporate side, but also doing great work on the ministry side. So I didn't know that backstory, but he working with me too, because
Yes.
I believe my assignment in the earth at this moment is to transform followers into leaders. That's where I am. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about it's not about the things that we are the norm in the traditional church. For me,
Mm-hmm.
is to transform followers into leaders, to help people as they help me raise up that leadership spirit in them, to now be able to go on and do greater works. And that's just
Absolutely.
where it is. So I thank you for sharing that. Anything with you, Pastor Miller?
Yes, I remember. I don't know if you remember, but
Okay.
just before I believe Morning Glory, because I know I didn't get up that early in the morning. I was
Yeah.
on one of your shows. I was on one of your shows you did before it was getting ready to start Morning Glory,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
think it had launched you into Morning Glory, and I was on one of your shows. But
Yeah.
you as a pastor, you have inspired me as one being committed and dedicated. Nobody, because of what you're doing, I can see if it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but you do it
Every day.
every
Uh,
day, and it takes commitment and dedication. So that inspires me, and it takes a lot of study. And what people
yeah.
don't realize, for you
Yeah.
to do what you do every day, and then got to come on Sunday with a sermon or a
Right.
message, uh,
Right.
which
Right.
is different from what you do during the week. So it inspired me. Hey man, you need to get more dedicated to the books, to be more committed to the study. Because if
Mm.
Dr. Sanders could do this every day, and then he inspired the people. I mean, you got now people get up, and it does more than help them through the day. It takes them through the day.
Wow.
And I see all of the sometimes the response from the people, especially in this day and time when
Yes.
folk are hurting, when folk are losing their jobs. Money is funny. And the only thing gonna get them through this is the word, and you are
Yeah.
able to do it every day, and not just every day, but early in the morning. So I
Mm.
seen them expire. Because early in the morning it already kicks their day off, which changes their day.
It does.
So I thank you for the dedication and the commitment that you have. Makes me more dedicated and committed to what I do.
Hey, man. Thank you. I thank you for the kindness of your words, and you've shared that with me before, in terms of the work ethic with it, and those things. It just hits different when you hear it,
Mm-hmm.
from somebody, and you hear it from somebody that understands what it takes in the back room before the lights come on, to be able to have just material, really material. And again, um, it's not me alone. I have people. Uh, Sometimes it may be Minister Shirley. It could be Minister Vanetta. It could be Deacon Kenyatta. It could be my wife. It could be Maud. People send me stuff. They are constantly sending me things. And with that, I have to take it and kind of go through it, through ciphering through it, but also discerning it, as to what'll work, what won't work, so we can get a framework that will work for what we're trying to do. So we're grateful. My thing for this year is consistency. Uh, uh, Being consistent at a thing and not quitting on it. God rewards that. So I just pray for stamina to keep going and be able to do. I don't know after this year how long we'll do it, but I just wait on God to see what He says, and then we go from there. While you guys were talking, I had some people commenting, and I guess they're giving me a name, Afternoon Glory, and another name was sent in called Midday Glory. All right, so maybe we'll adopt something. I won't be able to say Morning Glory. I got to say Afternoon Glory, or I have to say Midday Glory. Whatever works, whatever works. We'll roll on with that. So another question I had for the both of you was, and I really was glad I asked this question yesterday, because Judge Holmes in our conversation gave me an idea of some things to do in the future, and Elder Tommy, along with Minister Bernetta, gave me an idea of doing some things um, like what I used to do that you can relate to, Minister Shirley, in terms of working with UM and handling topics like HIV and AIDS and the church, and the church. Because I would go on these panels, and she would get me an invite on these panels, and I would represent the church, but I'm on there with all these, doctors, psychologists, and all of these people that's talking about HIV. But then when it comes to me, they want to know, what does the church have to say? How does church handle this? And those type things. So I wanted to pose that question to the both of you. And I'll start with Pastor Miller. As a pastor, what would be some things, it could be topical related, that you would think maybe the church needs to handle, or it could be community related, that would be that we could use a platform to talk about. I'm big on finance. I like to do things on business and finance, but that may be something that you see through your eye of a seer, that you think we could topic, or it could be just church topics, like handling things that may be difficult topics in the church that we may can do in the future. Does anything come to your mind?
What comes to my mind, where my passion is at, is getting pastors together in their communities. And once pastors come together in their community, do community work for that, helping those like single parent moms, older people who can't, repair their home or something like that. Uh, uh, Make sure they got food, and giving out scholarships, you know what I mean, to kids who really can't afford it, or they going to college and they can't afford to get their, that monthly money where they can have food every day. At least we give them a scholarship or something to get them kicked off. So my thing is uh, getting pastors together, not just by themselves, but if we all gonna be in the same community, let's help the community, because that's what we there for. It ain't just to have your church there to be a church. You're there for the community and for your people that you pastor now. And in returning that, you have that revival. That revival to revive the people, plus get the missionary part to bring those who are not saved in. So
Okay.
mine,
All right.
and in doing that, probably somebody in the pastoralship already got something going on at their church, probably like a HIV program, right? I don't have that in mind, or somebody else might not have that at theirs. So what we'll do is support yours, and somebody
Right.
might have something different, and we'll support theirs. And so we'll come together collectively, and then the church will move. Ain't just we a body, so we all working together, and we ain't like we in the air all flying all by ourselves.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I want you to hold that energy and be able to maintain it as you step into your new role, because the area is ripe for it. It is everything is set in line and in order. It just takes now the most difficult thing to me in my experience to get people to do is to come together in unity. That is the most, and this is me saying this in my view of things. As long as I've been doing it, and then long as I've been in leadership in communities, in leadership in terms of the church, has been to get people to come together in unity. And
Mhm.
I think where you have a shared vision, a shared, a like passion, which I know from working with you and the relationship we have, you have to take that, and you may not get everybody, but
Right.
you get others that will have a similar shared vision or a similar like passion and move off of that. So as we, once you get your feet settled and as we start to do some greater works, particularly in the surrounding area, I want you to hold that energy because God may be leading you into being the drum major for certain things. All right. All right. I'll keep the I'll
What I
keep it
do,
on this live and we'll have another talk later on. What
I,
about
I,
you?
I, I'll just
Go
stay in
ahead,
the
sir.
back and let you handle it. I'll just stay in the back, and,
And
and
hey, I don't reach that point now, boy. That now I'm willing to drive, but I got somebody else got to take the wheel of the bus. But I'll be on it. I'll be on it. But we'll talk about it later.
yeah, we'll
Uh,
talk about it later.
Go ahead, Minister Shirley.
Pastor, you talk a lot about leadership spirit. And I know for
Yeah,
me and the
yeah,
corporate experience, there have been plenty of times I'm listening to Morning Glory, whether I'm already in the office or on the way to the office, and there could be a challenge that's in regards to a person, project, or thing, that I'm leading, and I'll get sometimes, that's how I should handle that often. And so I would like to see, when it comes to that leadership spirit, and how that works no matter where you are, whether you're with a company, not a company, you're in corporate America, you're in the church. What does that leadership spirit mean? And it can work for everybody, because it worked for me in various ways. When it comes to my leadership spirit, when you talk about that, and throughout the 6 years you have taught and talked about that on a regular basis, here and there, from week
yeah,
to week or month to month, you have said that. And so it doesn't just work just for the community or church. It works for, people that are leaders that are already running their businesses, maybe in different chambers, etc., and how they look at their leadership in their leadership spirit.
yeah. I think, um, and we always need to do more of that. So
Mm-hmm.
let me preface it by saying that um, in the church, it is different than in the corporate sector.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and what I mean is still leadership. It's still leadership, but when I talk about leadership spirit, is because in order to the leadership spirit in the spiritual side has to be developed. it's like you could be a leader on the corporate side by people giving you a title, and then they give you, you know, you get the money that goes with it, and then you got this team of people that are over you that you manage, so you're their leader. On the spiritual side, though, it has to be developed, because you have to learn how to manage. I guess I would say in reverse, and here's what I mean. Your leadership spirit on the spiritual side has to learn how to lead when people are not cooperating, when they're not acting right, when they're not they're doing less than you. Okay, when you're doing all the work and they ain't doing nothing. So it still, you have to develop that, because that doesn't happen immediately. And the reason why I always talk about your leadership spirit, because in the church, when you get a title, if you don't have the right mindset, all you have is a title, you'll never have a testimony.
Yeah.
Because the way you get to the testimony is being able to lead. Like, I'll have people come, and I'm not talking about nobody right now, but I'll have people come and they'll present something, and you set them over it, but soon as the others that they are going to, soon as these others don't cooperate or don't show up or don't give them the energy that they need, they drop it. They drop it. No, they don't want to do it no more. All of a sudden, they're not even working on it anymore. And why? Well, the people don't cooperate. The people don't do this. The people don't that. But then that's still not an excuse for you in your leadership spirit to walk away. And that's why I talk about it so much, because every leader has to develop their leadership spirit. You have to learn fellowship before you can be effective in your leadership. And we just have the wrong motives. So it's something that I just believe all leaders need to develop and keep developing it, because as God moves you up the ladder, that ladder comes more exposure and more examination. So it's not just elevation, it's examination and it's exposure. And both of those things come at you, and you have to have this leadership spirit that allows you to maintain. So I gave you a long-winded response to that, but that's what it is. It has to be developed. You know, it's like when the Bible says that the two become one, right? The two become one. That doesn't happen automatic. That has to be developed for the two. So you go out and you find, you know, Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, and you just say, they're not the two becoming one immediately. And then you get frustrated and now you're gone. But the two becoming one has to be developed into. That's why the key word in that is become one. You're not that at the beginning. And that's the same thing with a leadership spirit. Just because you have a title doesn't make you have the spirit of the leader. You have to work it. Can you handle no's? And I'm going off, and I'm supposed to be talking to y'all. So let me get back to what. So it's your time now to hit me with any question you want to ask, and then I guess Eve won't be buzzing in on me telling me it's time to get off. All right. So I go ahead, Minister Shirley. Anything maybe that was your question you wanted to ask, but
I love you when you talk about leadership spirit. And although we talk about corporate and church, that's exactly what's happened in corporate America too. I've used that I don't know how many times on new leaders. that
Yeah.
you have the title, and I've taken that from you. So that, bringing leadership into a different realm, that leadership spirit, it's I believe the community and leaders in their respective places in corporate America can use that.
No,
Um,
I agree. And see, you're saying you take, see, you remember, oh, I don't know where I was when I was talking, but
mhm.
I think I was talking to Judge Holmes or somebody. I can't remember where I was. But Dr. Monroe posed a question to me that had changed my way of thinking, really changed me in the way I frame things. Am I going to be a commissioner that's a pastor, or am I going to be a pastor that is also a commissioner?
That's the word. Hmm.
Once I understood what he meant by that, from that point on, I take whatever I do. I deal with a lot of business people. In dealing with them, I still take who I am, what I become now, into those transactions. Therefore, it'll keep you honest because this is what you represent. This is who you are. This is not just what you're doing. This is also who
Who
you
you
are.
are.
And in that, so I'm no longer a commissioner. That's what I was doing. That's no what I was doing. So now if I'm something else, I'll go into that. That's what I'm doing. But who I am is a child of God. And I take that into that. And that's how you lead. You take the
Absolutely.
leadership spirit into your business. And now you lead from that perspective. Okay?
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, I done jumped and y'all got me excited. Go ahead, Pastor, if anything
We love the
you
Yeah,
excitement.
just one thing, because I'm looking at your role. What keeps you motivated? Because when I see somebody like LeBron James and what he do, something has to keep him motivated to do what he doing. But your job is like more of a twofold job, because you do the morning glory show, and then you're a
right.
pastor. So
Yeah,
that's a two different things. So something has to keep you motivated. You know what I mean? What is it keep you
yeah.
motivated
You
and
know,
active the way you are?
um that I I'll say I'll put it this way. I'm trying to think how I could package this without going 10 minutes on it. But the thing is for me, I I was telling them this morning on Morning Glory, you have to find a delight in what you do. So I'm going to go to an athletic term with you. So you know how an athlete says that they would play for free? That even if they retire, they'll be somewhere playing ball, or they'll be uh, somewhere in some of them go to coaching because it's
Okay.
just in their blood. It's just
Hmm.
in their blood that the game. Well, if you take that and you set it inside a delight for God and a delight for His Word, when you find that delight, it doesn't become a task anymore. It becomes a joy. It becomes now something that you can escape from everything and just lose yourself in. And you're no longer thinking about your body is tired, or you're no longer thinking about the late night hours. You lose yourself in it. And for me, I think that is it keeps me young, man. It keeps me
Hmm.
young. And I know we like the same age, but it keeps me young. It keeps me charged. It keeps me energized. It keep my wife will back me on this. Because of my mother-in-law, we now have the handicap decal, and 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 for me, I refuse to go anywhere near the spot, even though it affords us close proximity. I'm like, nah, I ain't ready for that. I ain't ready for that because I'd rather park way over there and walk, let them out. I'm going over there because in my mind, now it could be me not wanting to say I done got older, but it is what it is. Lord, keep me energized, keep me with the stamina, keep
Amen.
me now where now I just have this vibrant energy for it, but it's all comes back to finding a delight. It all comes back to that. It all comes back. And now, my good friend, Pastor Foster, always teased me saying, like, hardest working man, so and so, I can't remember exactly, hardest working man in preaching or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he says, but the fact of the matter is, it's all because you find something you enjoy doing and you do it and you're doing it all the time and not even realizing the time. And that's my quick answer that I could give you. And that just kind of sums it up for me. And my prayer is that he keeps me with the energy. I don't know what's next. Like, we love to travel. Right now, I'm trying to keep up with Eric Akins Jones, and I'll never catch him, but I tease him that I'm sure gonna go down swinging trying. But they've traveled to over 60 countries. Our goal is to travel to as many countries as we possibly can and see the world. And the Lord allows us to do it, and we just want to keep doing things. And with that, I've moved to answer you. I know I'm going on. I can hear them now telling me you're supposed to be closing, but here's the deal. I have shifted. I've spent maybe 30 years or more doing community work, and doing community work from high level down to handing out ice during hurricane, not Andrew, but hurricane, the one that came in 2005. I
Mhm.
can't remember the name of the hurricane, but it came through Broward County in 2005. So, so whether I'm in the penthouse or executive offices, or whether I'm down on the ground just giving families ice, is cool with me. The thing is, now though, in these later stages of life, the Lord keeps showing me to move from that to being international. So that's what keeps me going. It's time for me to go in and out on private jets, going to do ministry, going to do business in other remote places in the world, and that's where I see myself right now. So I don't know what that means, but my remote could be Nassau. I don't know. That's a whole other country for me, or it could be somewhere in Africa. I don't know. But all I know, Lord, wherever you lead me, I'm ready to follow. I'm ready to follow. So,
Amen.
fam, I know I've over talked. I can see them uh, uh, um, to the fact that with um, with these talks, that's what it's all about. Getting understanding, but also getting ideas. And I think from both of you, we picked up some things that they are definitely writing down, because they'll come back to me. Why don't we try this? But from the community side of getting pastors to come together in unity, something I want to do, something we had going at one time. And once COVID came, everybody kind of broke off. So I'm excited with your assignment, Pastor Miller, because I think it gives an extra person to work with. And then, it only takes two or three, and we'll go out and if they can do it with 2 fish and 5 loaves, we certainly can do it with a few of us to take over this little community. So that's that. And also the leadership spirit. I think we have to keep teaching that. And whoever gets it, that's great, because if one can get 1,000, 2 can go get 10,000. And we just need to raise up the leaders that are within us. So if nothing else, if you guys have nothing else, that'll wrap it up for us. Again, we thank you for your participation with us today on Midday Glory or Afternoon Glory, whichever one it is. And let's continue to do the good work of the Lord. Thank you, guys, and we'll see
You're
you
welcome.
soon.
Thank
God
you for
bless.
having me.
Thank you. God bless.